Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Chimera Elite, and today we're taking a look at kind of what's going on behind the scenes for Modheim City of the Damned. We're just going to start with the Skaven because I have the most experience in playing them. Just kind of like how I did it with my Dogs of War online videos, it's just going to be a main focus on the guys I actually know. Now currently there are a bunch of things that are not yet in the game. All of this means nothing. You have a random amount of money just sitting here, no shipment, no idea what this is. The shipment could come from the smuggler's den, because that kind of makes sense. You have your shop where you can eventually buy items and possibly other things and just equipment. You have player progression, which is I am really a sucker for progression, because I don't know if the progression for the Skaven is going to be the same for the mercenaries or for any of the other armies that are going to be available to play. There's actually a single player also, which is great for those who just don't want to play against other people. And obviously skirmish, which is up and running for the most part. But all of these belong and really deserve other videos of their own. What I'm going to be looking at here is purely management. Now I'm just going to click on really the simplest guy here, which is the Rat Ogre. Now before your eyes glaze over, really, for the most part, all that's important is up here. All of it. He's your impressive unit, he's your Rat Ogre. He has a rating of 91, which is actually very, very good. He is ready to go. He's not injured in any way. That's his damage. I have no idea what that is. That's his health. That's his overall defense, I'm pretty sure. And those are his points. You know, movement and actual physical things, like attacking someone. Now, all of this. That's your trinket. Now, all this, the trinkets are just like they are in any other game. They're pretty much just places to add little bonuses. Eventually, obviously, the game's going to have many, many more trinkets, and you can actually enchant things and find things that might suit a unit perfectly. And if you can manage to do that, good on you. You have armor, clothing, really whatever. Currently, though, as far as I know, there is nothing else for the Rat Ogre. You have your bracers. Now, currently you see the bracers deal 35 to 45. He adds his strength to that, and that affects it however it affects it. Some numbers in the back that I don't really feel like or really need to go into. But what you really need to know is it's a melee weapon. It's very slow, so he's going to attack last. He's going to be further down the list of things happening for the most part. It also is going to mean that it's a bit easier from the dodge, and they just specifically tell you. So they have a better chance to dodge, but at the same time you have a better chance to hit. So it's an interesting little trade-off. Now, and eventually, you're not going to be able to parry any of this guy's attacks. And I'm sure the same thing is going to apply for most of the other impressive units, because they just hit so goddamn hard, blocking them is going to break your arm. You might as well just take it and be able to fight at full capacity. Now everything on this side, strength, toughness, agility, and all this, really just tells you one simple thing. He's really strong, really tough, kinda sorta agile. He's actually more agile than some human units, and all these other things. Now one thing that they don't tell you here, which I would greatly appreciate that they do, is tell you what having an intelligence of 2 does to a unit. Now specifically, from my experience, having an intelligence of 2 makes you have to roll a stupidity check, which is very, very tense, because if you fail that check, he just kind of stares around and does nothing. He wastes his turn. Now, this kind of balances out the fact that he's one of the more powerful. I believe he is actually the most powerful, impressive unit that is there to offer in the game right now. He is the most powerful, impressive unit. He's a giant ogre. What do you expect? But let's get into someone who's a little bit more complicated. And I'm just going to grab my hero. Hero or leader. Now, again, all that really matters is what's up here. You can look down here just to get a little bit more in-depth, but it's really, even then, not really needed. Right now, anyway. I'm being very specific when I say this. Right now, if you're new to the game, all you need is up here. If you're really getting invested in the game, take a look at here. Because right now, this guy is actually decent. He's not incredibly accurate, and he doesn't have incredible ballistic skills, but I still have him with a pistol. But it might not be the best choice. Looking down here really just tells you more information to help you make a better educated decision about what you're thinking of. But ignoring all that, head armor, other armor you can toss on, weapons, and you always have 2 weapon sets, always. For Skaven, and just for my army in general, I like having 2 weapon sets, one melee, one ranged, because it gives me versatility, and versatility gives me chances to keep my units out of combat, dealing damage to them and keeping my units safe. Especially if my rat ogre is up against another impressive unit, or he's up against multiple enemy units, because currently I'm not sure if there's a flanking penalty like in Dogs of War or in like most games. I'm not sure if there is a flanking penalty in the game right now. So really all that getting in close does to me is allows them to turn around and slap me a few times. Also, the pistol actually really hurts. It's a 31 to 39. Now obviously you can't move and shoot in the same turn if you shot before. So you can shoot, switch weapons, move a little bit, and then wait. Or you can just stand back like most of my units, have a front line, and just fire away. And even if the front line collapses, the back line can just switch to their melee weapons, which they're technically better with. This guy especially, he has a weapon skill of 7 out of, I believe, 18, which is very, very good. It's not insane, but keep in mind, this guy is also level 0. He's a base. I have no idea how high that level can go, and if it can get to 10, then fantastic. I cannot wait to see how much of a monster this guy's going to become. Because he already has a rating of 81. He's an assassin adept. He kills things. That's what he does. And his stats are actually pretty decent also. But this is really from here and down here. That's really all that you need to know in the early access right now. What my friend and I have been thinking about and just kind of discussing a little bit on the side is what all this is. Now we know that every single one of these guys, and I mean every single one of these guys, have abilities. Maybe not these guys so much, but these guys certainly. All of these guys have some sort of ability, whether passive or activated. This guy definitely, but you can't see those in this screen. What we're possibly thinking of is that in these, it's in here that you select your skills and that you can tweak those skills, because other than your head and your weapons and your armor, there's really not a whole lot else that really needs to be added, at least in customizability. Sure, new weapons and new armor and just enchanted armor and things can be added. But that's, that's not that complicated. Obviously, some of these could be rings or fetishes or something to help boost certain stats. But if you have rings, left hand, right hand, okay. That still leaves 4 slots and 4 more things to think about. Now, at this point in the video, I'm just going to go through and show you guys what's on offer rather, for you to equip your army with. Now, most of these things, currently at least, are not all that different. Most of these effects are coming soon, like many things in the game. It's early access, it's what you're buying into. It's more like a trust thing. Now, typically, and later on, I would probably choose something like the Fighting Claws. I can climb, I can bypass armor, I can be a general pain in the ass. But the ignore parry part is not actually in the game right now. And even then, I'm not sure I would even want the Fighting Claws, because I have Weeping Blades. Now, Weeping Blades deal just about as much damage. They're about as fast. You're more defensive this way, and you can use poison. Now, sorry for jumping around, but this is just kind of how my brain works. You might think that Fighting Claws are really cool and really awesome, and they are. But what you need to keep in mind is that little text right under ignore parry, that's tiring. That means Fighting Claws, instead of just taking up 2 action points, they're going to be taking up 2, and then the next attack is going to be taking up 3. If I had 5 action points, I would probably use Weeping Blades or Fighting Claws exclusively, at least for Drag Twitch half year. This Assassin of Death right here. I'd be using these because he would be able to attack twice. And currently, Fighting Claws do not do that. Currently, having just one weapon that's not tiring allows me to attack twice. Being able to attack twice is just flat out better. If you've ever played D&D, it's like having a great axe versus a great sword. They technically deal the same max damage, but sorry guys, the great sword kind of has a higher average hit, because it's rolling a d12 versus 2d6. You have a better chance of hitting higher. Now, that may have just gone over some people's heads, that may have not. This is just kind of me ranting, going on about how hitting twice is usually better than hitting just once. In another situation, being able to hit twice against a heavily armored target might not, in some cases, could be a detriment. Fighting Claws bypass armor, so you would in that case be dealing more damage. But against a unit that's not so heavily armored, you would want to hit twice, because if this hits for a 26 on the low end, or a 30, but this hits for, let's say, a 6, this can hit a 16 on a 16, and you're hitting more damage. You're just flat out hitting. And if you miss your first hit with this, your turn's over. You can't do anything else. If you miss your first hit with this, you might only deal like 20 damage. But you get a second chance. And that's just my 2 cents on that. You have Fighting Claws, daggers, halberds, mace, spear, swords, weeping blades, the warp lock pistol. Every single one of these things has a different little... They're unique in their own little ways. Halberds are slow, You can use parrying, but they're tiring also. But if you crit, they hurt like hell. Every little thing has to be in the back of your mind whenever you choose these weapons. I'm probably going to choose Weeping Blades at some point, just so I can have my assassin come up, slash someone, disengage, move, engage with someone else, slash them, and just keep on doing that. And just poison everybody so they're constantly taking damage, and hopefully, and possibly, we don't know yet, taking some sort of penalty, which makes it easier for my other units to actually get their hits in. Now, other than that, there isn't too much to the game right now. You've got Skirmish. There aren't really any available games, unfortunately, that I can see. And despite me refreshing a bunch of times, no one's really on. And that's alright. That's fine. The game is really new. Not much of a player base. And also, it may be because it is currently about 2:20 a.m. in the morning. But that's just me and my weird times for recording. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and next time we're going to be looking at the Mercenaries. I'll see you guys around. Peace.